Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Apples and Apples. As always, I am Drew Applebaum, and I'm here with my co-host and dad, Scott.
You know, I hate to correct you so soon into the show, but it's apples to apples.
Isn't that what I said?
Like, I'm the big apple, and I'm talking to you, the smaller apple.
What did I say?
Apples and apples.
No, I might have said to apples, but...
Okay, well, you're on the radio. Actually, you're on the podcast. You need to talk clearer. But kind of on a sad note, I think we need to open up the show. The world lost an icon since the last time we've been on the air, and I think it would be a disservice if we didn't take a little moment now to, for all of our listeners, including us, to pause and remember this icon and however you want to. If you want to, we're going to play a little song if you want to listen to the music, or maybe your fondest memories of this icon that has dominated the news since we were last on. So, Cecil the Lion, this is for you, buddy. And we're back. Hang on a second. Drew, take it.
Well, you try to recover over there. I'll let you take your time. A couple headlines.
Okay, I'm recovered. He was a lion, correct?
Yes, but he was...
Was he the... Go ahead. Let's move on. I have a lot of questions, but let's move on.
About Cecil or just in general?
In general, but especially Cecil. But let's move on.
Well, some other headlines throughout the news in the sports world since we were last on. The Twins' struggles continue post-All-Star break. The trade deadline ends. Some teams make a splash. The Twins don't. Vikings training camp is mostly full-on underway. They had their first open scrimmage.
Can I just stop you there? I don't think I told you this, but I believe within the next 20 minutes or so, we could be getting our first call-in from our correspondent out at Vikings training camp.
Oh, it's exciting. I knew we had a guy out there, so.
Yeah, you'll be surprised who it is, but... well, can I give my call-out since we're...
Yeah, let's get right into it. I know this has been bugging you all week. I'll let you get right into it.
And actually, I'm kind of twisting this. I've got a call out, and then I have a call on. It'll make more sense later. My call-out is Paul Molitor. We had the pleasure of going to a bunch of Twins games over the weekend, and two big pieces for my call-out. One, the way they play baseball. I thought he was... I'm not sure he should be getting some of the credit he's getting. I think we have... The younger players are playing well. We have better younger players than we've had the past few years. And watching the game, I'm not so sure that how much he has to do with it. Examples. They can never, and maybe this is the coach in me, and you've coached, and maybe I'm looking at the game in a different way. They don't move base runners over. 2 strikes, they don't change their swing. With 2 strikes, especially with runners on, you get the ball in play. Short swing, choke up if you have to. Mauer, Dozier, Hunter, they never change. They're swinging even harder with 2 strikes and runners on. And we saw it time and time again, and I just don't think they do the little things necessary. And my second big criticism is I understand that Molitor and Mauer went to the same high school. I understand that he makes $25 or $30 million a year. I understand that he's the homecoming king of Minnesota. I understand he's Joe Mauer, but it's time. So he cannot bat first, second, or third anymore. He's just between the striking out, looking, I don't know, those, and then every time he strikes out looking, he shakes his head.
He draws the line in the dirt. That's my favorite. Every time he just, as if he doesn't, because he's not a guy that's gonna sit there and argue with the ump. He's just gonna silently. He's gonna draw the line in the dirt.
And he looks at the scoreboard.
Yeah, so he can see the pitch again. Yeah, 100%.
First of all, if you're the number 3 hitter, you shouldn't want to walk. The number 3 hitter is supposedly, and I do say supposedly, the best hitter on our team. And he's looking for a walk. Never moves the runners over. He'll hit the occasional, 4 times, I guess, a home run. He just, it's time. He needs to bat. If he has to play, which I get, 7, 8 tops. He can't bat 9th because he's too slow for the top of the order. And what I would do if I was the manager, and I'm pretty sure I won't be, to me, there's only one position for him to play. That's catcher. If you got a catcher batting 260 and slapping the ball around, that's not bad. And as a plus, on the off chance he gets hurt and can't play anymore, it solves your problem because you don't have to get rid of him, and insurance will pay his salary. So that's my... I'll let you comment on my call out because I've got a bigger call on next.
I have my own fair share of problems with Molitor and what he's done. I'll talk about Mauer before I get to Molitor. I think the most telling thing about the point we're at in Mauer's career was I think it was on Thursday, the game we went to. I saw something I never thought I would see in my lifetime. I watched the Seattle Mariners with a man on second. I think there's a guy on second and 2 outs or so, intentionally walk Aaron Hicks so they could face Joe Mauer.
That's not good.
That is something I never
Actually,
imagined.
They loaded
I
the
would
bases,
see.
I think.
It might have been. Either way, it didn't matter if there's no one on base. They chose to pitch to Joe Mauer over Aaron Hicks. And I think that says something about where Mauer's at in his career. And I think I agree with you. You do have to move him down. And Mauer's the kind of guy. It's clear Mauer is like, baseball put aside, he's there. He's a good teammate. He wants to win. He's not going to argue, cause problems. If Molitor said, hey, we're going to move you down, Mauer wouldn't argue. He'd say, okay. He'd bat 6th, he'd bat 7th, he'd do his job at 6 or 7. He's not a guy that's going to complain about not hitting 3 anymore.
Well, you know what else, too? Baseball is, of all the sports, I think is the most superstitious. Correct me if I'm wrong, but ever since he's grown that beard, it's the most times he's struck out more this year than any other year, and now he's got a beard. Isn't it? Maybe we should get rid of the beard.
Yeah.
Is it as simple as that?
It just I don't like the beard to begin with, but I don't. He's got his. The beard is like number 6 on his list of issues.
Oh, okay.
I think
it's probably 5. For
and
me.
I know what you're saying about moving him back to catcher, but we don't even have a first baseman to play there.
We don't have one now.
I know, but it's not like we'd be upgrading to anything, you know?
Well, I would disagree. I think you put either Trevor Plouffe.
Well, that's clearly who
or Sano. He's got the body.
But they'd put Plouffe there.
That's fine.
They'd maybe down the road they'll move Sano to first, but not
and
right
then
now.
We could go get a D. Oh, that's right. We don't go get anyone, which leads me to my call on. And I don't know how many listeners we have out there. I know our audience is building rapidly, but if there's any Minnesota billionaires out there, I'm calling on you to buy the Twins, because the Pohlad family has a lot of money, as much money as a lot of the owners. They don't care. They refuse to spend it, and they continually let Terry Ryan sit there and do absolutely nothing when everybody else is doing something. Last week when we were here, we were 3 games up in the wild card. Everybody around us went and did stuff. By the time we're on next time, we'll be 5 games out, because Toronto will beat us 4 straight games because they went and did something. And by the way, a steak sandwich is $17, and their games are being close to selling out. They have money, so I'm calling on any. I don't know if you have to be a multi-billionaire, but just a bunch.
Well, if you could get a bunch of regular millionaires together.
I don't care who. Buy the team, fire Terry Ryan, give him a watch or something on his way out for all of his years of service, and let's make some moves.
Here's my issue. My issues are as a fan, because that's what we are when it boils down to it. We talk sports. We have this podcast about sports. When it boils down to it, we're not going to break the stories to you. You know, we're here as fans voicing the fans' opinion. And honestly, it's annoying. And it upsets me as a fan is there was an interview with Terry Ryan right before the trade deadline, and they were asking him about like if he was going to make a move and everything. They asked him if he felt a responsibility to the team to make a move, and his answer was, there's nobody that's more sensitive to that than me. I know they've done a heck of a job getting to this point, and we're in a good position. Now it's my responsibility to help the cause. We've struggled here. The last games have been a battle. We have not played good baseball. I'm aware of that, but I'm also aware that one correct move by me could help that cause immensely because it's going to change maybe the attitude in that clubhouse. I don't want them thinking a white knight's coming around the corner because it might not be, but there's also the possibility you don't have to tinker with this thing too much to get us going in the right direction. And what that tells me is he never intended on making a move. He's going to say that I know I could do something and it might make a difference, but I'm not going to and I don't want to get everybody's hopes up. And that's as a fan, that's annoying because we, like you said, we're now only one game up in the wild card. We just went like 6-9 on a homestand. We're 10-15 since the All-Star break. We've only gotten worse as the season has gone on, and I think some of that is Molitor's fault, and I have something to say about Molitor in a second. But Terry Ryan has got to understand, the last 5 years, we have been awful, and there was nothing he could have done to fix that. We were waiting for these guys, the Sano's, the Buxtons, all those guys. We were waiting, and we were building one piece at a time. We went and got Hughes. It wasn't a huge move, but it was something. We re-signed. I know re-signing him out wasn't like a smart move, but that was for the future. We went and got Torrey to mentor these guys, and now we got a chance. These guys are here. We have a chance, and he just sat behind his desk, and the only move he made was for an average reliever with control problems, as if like that was the solution. That was the move. It's unbelievable.
In Terry Ryan's defense on that one, and then he does fit in with the rest of the guys we got.
I have something about that.
An average reliever with control problems. It fits in good. But the point is this: we needed a shortstop desperately. There was the best shortstop in baseball available, and we watched him go to a competitor at the time because we don't want to give up a prospect. If we actually have all the prospects that we claim we have, two things: one, you can't play them all, so get rid of some. And two, get rid of some because that's why you have them. I mean, we've been holding on to prospects since 1991.
We have 7 major league shortstop prospects. Maybe not 7, like 6. 5 or 6. Between Danny Santana, Eduardo Nunez, Eduardo Escobar, the Jorge Polanco they brought up while Plouffe was on leave, and Gordon. Oh, what's his first name? The Gordon kid Nick Gordon. We drafted him 2 years ago now with like the 3rd overall pick when we were bad. But in the next 5 years, those guys all can't physically play. They're all between the ages of 20 and the oldest one I think is Nunez, who's like 26, or Escobar, one of them. They can't all physically play. And honestly, Nunez and Escobar and Santana have proven that they can play at the major league level. There's teams out there that would want them. You're telling me that would want people like that just to have until they improve. And then it's going to get to a point where what are we going to do with all of them? Like you said, you can't physically play all of those guys. We have 5 separate shortstop prospects that at this point none of them are ready. And yeah, you can say down the line Nick Gordon was a third overall pick. He's a shortstop of the future, but he's 4 or 5 years out from playing. Tulowitzki would have been great for a couple. I'm not even there's so many other shortstops out there too.
So let's play a game. You're Terry Ryan, and I am me. Hey Terry, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I think his voice is a little different than that, but okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Troy Tulowitzki is the best shortstop in baseball?
He probably doesn't even know. I don't think he knows.
Hey, dude, can you play along? I'm getting to a point if you could play along. If this could take the whole show.
Yeah, Troy Tulowitzki is a great shortstop.
Do you? Is there any acting classes at Georgetown, or some just personality?
There are.
Classes?
I don't take them.
Well, you might need to just play along. We're
I am.
role-playing.
Yes, Troy Tulowitzki's a great shortstop. That's my answer.
Okay, we got to start all over. Hey Terry, do you think Troy Tulowitzki? No, I can't even say it. You know that guy that was just traded? Do you think he's a great shortstop?
Yeah, I think he's one of the best shortstops in the MLB.
And isn't he signed for the next 5 or 6 years?
I think so.
Okay, so here's my question to you, genius. You've got 19 shortstops in the minor leagues. Are any of them better than him right now? It's a 2-part question. Are any of them better than him right now?
Well, no.
Thank you. Don't. And are any of them going to be better than him in 5 years?
Well, we're hoping.
No.
Well, that's the answer he'd give.
Yeah, but hope has gotten you nowhere since 1991, okay? Stop hoping. So my point is, you could get a guy for 5-6 years who will be better than any of the 19 guys that we're going to have that we've had the last 3 years until his career, Troy Tulowitzki's career is over. It was a no-brainer, and we had to give up 1 or 2 decent prospects. The guy's got no imagine. And maybe Pohlads are telling him he can't do. I don't know what the problem is, but that's a problem.
There's just, in the whole Twins organization, this goes to what I was going to say about Molitor. What annoys me is it's a lack of imagination and creativity.
Are you Terry Ryan or Drew now?
I'm me. I'm Drew.
Okay.
I'm back to Drew.
All right, back to Drew.
There's just a lack of imagination between Terry Ryan. I'm not even going to put on the poll ads. I feel like I don't know how much they even have to do with anything. Between Terry Ryan,
they sort of have a lot to do with it. They own the team.
Well, yeah, but I don't know how much. Some owners do everything. Some owners, you just kind of sit back and own the team. You know, I don't know. Between Terry Ryan and Paul Molitor, and honestly most of the players, it's a lack of creativity and imagination on and off the field. Molitor, at the beginning of the season, everything was going right. He could have put anybody out there. They were going to find a way to win. We've started to struggle. Different players have started to struggle. We've had to make some adjustments. He has done nothing different. We're struggling at the plate. It's no mystery we've had problems scoring runs since the All-Star break. There's no bunting guys over. There's no hit and runs trying to get anything going. It's just he lets them go up there and swing away. There's no changes in lineups. Hicks is hitting 290 and Rosario's hitting about 280, 290. Torrey Hunter's down to 245. And like you said, Mauer's struggling. And the lineup is exactly the same as it was 2 months ago with those guys in the game. It's time, and Dozier, as amazing as he has been, is only batting 255. He's not a leadoff hitter. He's honestly being wasted as the leadoff hitter. He has, his number of extra base hits and his RBIs are almost exactly the same, and that is ridiculous. I honestly think, I didn't crunch the numbers, but I think if someone sat down and figured it out, if Dozier had been batting third, and you could probably even put Mauer first to prove this argument. I wouldn't as a manager, but just for this argument's sake, if you just swap them, I bet we have at least 5 more wins. Because Dozier's 22, 23 home runs and 25 doubles or whatever would have produced, he'd probably have 80 RBI instead of 55 in the 3 spot. It's time to reward Hicks for what he's done and bat him first. It's time to reward Rosario for what he's done and bat him second. It's time to tell Mauer, your time is done. We're moving on to the future. You're batting 6. And then bat Dozier third, Sano fourth, and from there, probably Plouffe fifth. And then from there on, it doesn't matter. I was looking at the lineup today.
I think Mauer has to bat 7th. I think he goes.
Well, if 6th, 7th,
Sano,
either way.
Plouffe, Hunter, Mauer.
If I was putting out the lineup card today, it would go Hicks playing center, batting first. Rosario, Plouffe, Sano. No, excuse me, Sano, Plouffe. Sorry, 4-5. Hunter 6. I'd probably bat Mauer 6 just because Hunter has struggled twice as much as Mauer lately. Every time Hunter goes to bat, he looks awful. He's looked terrible. I'd bat Mauer 6, Hunter 7, and then whoever was playing shortstop that day, 9, and Kurt Suzuki 8th. It's time to make a change. and they're not going to, and that's on Molitor. I'm sick of him doing the same thing every day. And when you've struggled to score runs and you got guys on first and second with no outs and Eduardo Escobar up to bat, have the dude bunt. And if he doesn't get the bunt down on strike one, have him bunt again. You know, that's the thing. They have him do it once and then nothing. You know, and I don't like bunting. I really don't. As like a tool in baseball, I'm not a huge fan of the sack bunt to move guys over. But when you're struggling like the Twins are, you have to. You have to try something to get something going. And we have enough speed on the Twins to try some hit and runs, to steal guys. You know, it's just...
Well, it's not even... You don't necessarily bunt in the first and second inning, but there was fourth, fifth, sixth inning when we were...
Well, yeah, not... I mean...
In the game and couldn't... And just didn't even... Like,
yeah, when we were at the game on Saturday, and our only runs were off pass balls, we were struggling to hit the ball, but there are a couple situations I was like, this is like textbook bunt situation when you're struggling to hit the ball. It's a sixth inning, guy on second, no outs. Sixth inning, first and second, you have your 9-hitter up, 1 out. And he just lets him swing away. Or, like, they won't get the bunt down in strike one, and then he lets him swing away. Make him, you know, I don't know.
So, basically, now the season's over, but we're going to be encouraged because some of our younger guys played well, and then we're going to go sign a pitcher whose arm is broken but just coming off for cheap. And it's just going to be a rewind, and then next year they'll do a little better because... If Sano and Rosario and some of those guys, and Buxton if he plays, and Hicks keeps it up, you know, then we'll be encouraged, and it's going to be nothing. It's just like Groundhog's Day, and then we're going to have Terry Ryan. Yep, I got to, you know, Terry Ryan. You know, is it Linus or who in Peanuts when they talk? It's just the blah 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 blah. That's when Terry Ryan talks. That's all I hear.
What?
Peanuts, Charlie Brown.
Oh,
the character, you know, the one that
when he. Well, no, isn't that the parents?
It's like Linus or one of the characters when they talk. It's all black.
I know. I think of Fat Albert, Mushmouth. He was like a you know.
No, I'm talking.
I know.
Who the hell is that?
You've never seen. Oh, you should.
I don't
watch
like
Fat
the fact
Albert.
they call him Fat Albert. I think it's politically incorrect.
He it's his. He wishes it upon himself.
That he's fat.
No, like he likes the name. That's part of the show. He's proud of it.
I don't like. Is he real, by the way?
Fat Al. Well, there is a real live version of the movie with Kenan Thompson's Fat Albert.
Okay,
it's pretty funny.
Time out. Is the character based on someone real from the comic strips?
What?
Fat Albert was a comic strip, I thought.
No, it was a cartoon show.
Whatever. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was not. No, it's not like Peanuts where it was a comic then a cartoon. It's just a cartoon.
All right, let's just. What was it? We'll start.
I don't know.
there.
I think Bill Cosby is the creator of Fat Albert. So
So he he's got his own issues. I think back.
No, he does.
When he created Fat Albert and called him Fat Albert, I think that should have told us something down the road that this guy wasn't as PC as he.
Well,
claims.
I think everybody knew he was a little off. I think no one was just quite sure to what level he was off. I think everyone thought he was a little goofy.
You know, is that it with the Twins? Because we have breaking news.
I think that's all. I need Molitor to do something with that team. He's gotten a lot, like you said, he's gotten a lot of praise. I'm not so sure how much he deserves it, and so I think it's time for him to earn that praise he's received by changing something up. And I think Mauer's sitting out today, which is his step one. I think they always put out the lineup early, and I saw it, and Mauer's not playing, and Plouffe is at first, and Sano's at third.
Well, you could never...
No, Sano's DHing. Nunez is at third.
You can never do that at home because...
Well, of course not.
So, you say we never break news. We have breaking news from Vikings training camp. On the line... Wait, do you have...
I think I have him here. We're going to go to our correspondent at the... At Vikings training camp after last night, they had a scrimmage in front of 10,000 people. Can you believe that?
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, that passing thing?
They're 2 nights ago. No, it was a scrimmage.
Well, let's put our. I want to before we get the correspondent on the line. I want to say something about that. Who's this Diggs guy that they're
Stephon Diggs?
He's just torching
our 4th and 5th.
Yeah,
corners.
I mean he's playing against our cornerbacks. Why is it shocking that he's doing well?
First off, I don't think our starting cornerbacks are that bad, but like our backup cornerbacks are those guys we've had for like 4 or 5 years that are bad, and that's who he's torching.
I think even our starting cornerbacks got torched a tad last year.
Every cornerback in the NFL gets torched. Like if you break even as a cornerback, that's a victory.
Hang on, Nick.
It's the
We'll
nature
get you in
of
a
it's the
second.
nature of the position.
All right, Nick's ready to go. We're going to take it out live to Vikings training camp to our correspondent, Nick Papagiorgio.
Hi, Scott.
Nick, how's it going out there? What are you seeing from the Vikings?
Well, they're in shorts and T-shirts, and they're throwing the ball around.
Do they have helmets on?
Some of them.
Wow, that sounds exciting. So what else are you seeing? Are they putting in a new offense, or what are they doing?
Well, currently, Teddy is throwing the ball to his receivers, running routes against no one. Peterson's off to the sideline looking, and Zimmer seems happy.
Wow, this is getting exciting. So, what are they wearing again?
Shorts and T-shirts and helmets.
Wow. So, from what you're seeing, I know you're very busy, and I'm going to let you go, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be our first, I guess, call-in correspondent from Vikings training camp, because so much is going on. By what you're watching right now, Super Bowl?
If the Super Bowl were played in shorts and T-shirts and helmets, I think they got a good shot this year.
I don't think I've ever been more excited. Well, what are you going to be on with us again?
Well, I do have a trip to Vegas scheduled, so I may be out for a week or two.
Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you go there. That's weird. All right, well, that was Nick Papagiorgio.
Thanks, guys.
Reporting live from Vikings training camp. And you know what's really odd about that interview?
He really gave us some good insight. I'm glad we had him.
The same insight that we actually heard on K-Fan on the way over.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can say K-Fan. Sorry, on that radio station on the way over. When they go to training camp and interview these guys, and they're so pumped and excited, and they're running in shorts, and I guess he said helmets too, and T-shirts, and then they're playing against each other, and honest to God, maybe is that a pet peeve of mine? I don't know.
It's just people are excited. It's just I don't know. I think it's honestly, I can't like fault people because like I get overexcited at like nonsense things like that too. But it's like you need to realize like, oh, that's great that like they look like they're in good shape, but you can't honestly tell me you know anything besides seeing Teddy can throw the ball 10 yards further because he put on some muscle in the off. That's literally all you can tell me.
And no one's tackling him. And
exactly. That's literally the only thing you can tell me. Or that insert defensive lineman here shaved off 15 pounds and is faster. That's the only thing you can tell me that's worth anything to me because they aren't in any pads. They're doing no contact, no... I understand there's competition between players, but it's completely different.
Why do we want our linemen thinner? Don't we want
the defensive
defensive
lineman.
end.
The
Okay.
offensive lineman should
Well,
be
excuse me. We have breaking news. Nick Papagiorgio just landed in Vegas. He put a quarter in a machine and won a car.
Oh, breaking news again. He put in another quarter and won another car.
And another quarter and won a car.
I'm currently I'm reading What You Missed at Vikings training camp on Sunday, August 2nd. Would you like to know what you missed from training camp on August 2nd?
Yes.
Henke gets a chance.
Who?
The coaches gave quarterback Sean Hill a break today, and it was rookie.
Well, he's 90. Of course he needs a break.
It was rookie Tyler Henneke who got a look with the second stringers. He has been streaky in camp so far, but he fared okay today.
He's been streaky in shorts and T-shirts and no one tackling him. Honestly, that's a great report.
And there's more obviously, but Alan Page was there. That's kind of fun.
Well, unless he's going to...
That's probably the biggest news from training camp
unless
yesterday.
he's going to lace him up and play for us. That does nothing for me.
I cannot. It doesn't look like any injuries, except Josh Robinson is not close to a return, thankfully.
Yeah, that's lucky.
It's a little ridiculous, and I get it. There's not that much going on in the sports world right now. You got to kind of make news out of what there is, but the people getting excited for it is they need to realize kind of. And I'm okay with going to the scrimmage. I went to the Timberwolves preseason scrimmage thing. I think those things are kind of cool. I don't fault anyone for going to that. But the people that are like, oh, they're saying Teddy looks great at camp. It's like, yeah, well, he's throwing to nobody. Like, he's throwing again. Like, there's nobody guard. Like, I could go out there and look good.
Well, on the way here, and I'm not going to name the person or the station, they were relaying a story about last year, how one of the players said that even though he wasn't starting, Teddy was the best quarterback on the team. Well, I would have been the fourth best quarterback on the team. I mean, that's compared to what? Yeah, I don't fault the fans. I just when we analyze every little thing at training camp. But I want to talk about a real football issue / team.
But we're gonna do that right after this break.
No, I want to talk about it now.
Nope, you're gonna have to wait.
No, I'm going to start it. I'll just keep talking until we get back.
All right. Well,
so anyways,
the first half of Apples to Apples. We'll be right back.
I was fine.
Hey, this is Terry.
And Tracy.
We are going to be starting a new podcast here in Minneapolis called Eat This, Twin Cities. Why don't you tell everybody what that actually means?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a weekly show on food, drink, music, events, and just other randomness. Anything great that's going on in the Twin Cities.
Plus, we're going to be doing some giveaways as well. That's right, prizes. People love prizes.
It'll be a ton of fun. Join us.
Tell us where they can find the podcast.
All right, it is eatthisTwinCities.com, or you can check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/eatthisTwinCities.
So, until next time, eat this, Twin Cities!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back on Apples to Apples.
So as I was saying, I want to talk about Tom Brady.
I have a question for you before we get into Tom Brady. It's just I want a quick answer, I want a short answer, and that's it.
Well, I can't promise that.
Should Adrian Peterson play in the preseason?
No.
I disagree. We'll talk about that maybe a different time. But
he never has.
He hasn't. He's never sat out a full year before. I think you need to give him at least 1 or 2 drives because he sat out a year.
Fine, I'm fine with that.
I'm not saying he should play every game, but I just think he needs like a little bit just to get back into it. Before they just throw him into it in the regular season.
Because hanging onto a ball and running forward and knocking people over is so hard.
Well, I don't think you can make the case that after what you just said about training camp.
Adrian Peterson is just chiseled and fast and strong and well rested. I don't think he needs any practice, but
I think he needs just like 5 carries.
Well, I don't.
Okay.
Well, we can differ. Oh, I don't think 5 carries will hurt him unless he gets hurt.
I think, and I also think it'd be something that cool for the fans.
In Canton, Ohio.
No, but you watch on. You're not gonna watch it. First off, it would get people to watch the game. If they came out right now and said Adrian Peterson is gonna play in this preseason game, you know how many more viewers they would get?
That's true. And then 30 seconds later, when he's out, they turn it off.
Doesn't matter. They watched it for a little bit.
Okay, well,
that's all it's about.
Maybe you should work marketing for whatever. I think it's Channel 9 now is going to show him.
Well, Channel 9's not going to convince the Vikings to start Adrian Peterson.
All right, Tom Brady. What? So he's taking him to court. He's fighting. Let's just start with this. It's probably a stupid rule because what's the difference what the footballs are deflated? Or inflated to deflated. If they hand the ball off, it doesn't affect the other team tackling the running back. If they throw the ball, yeah, it's easier for him to throw, but how does that affect the cornerbacks covering the guy or intercepting? And the kickers use different balls anyway, so it's probably a stupid rule. Having said that, and we've talked about it before with Pete Rose, it's a rule that he may or may not have broke. He probably broke it. Now, why don't you just be a man and just say when it first happened, yeah, you know what, I think we did. It'd be done with. It'd be over with. Thoughts?
I think, like as you said, I think it's a ridiculous rule. I think it's one of those things where there shouldn't be a by the way, it's Tom Brady's birthday. I forgot to tell you that. Happy birthday, Tom.
That doesn't sway me at all.
No, I know.
And
I just thought I'd share.
Just give me. We know it's a stupid rule. Let's move on. I already said that.
I think it's one of those things where if there was no limit, there was no like set range the ball had to be in, every quarterback could have the ball at the pressure and weight
Fine.
they wanted, then it's one of those things. If everybody has the advantage, then no one has the advantage.
I agree, but that's that. Okay, let's move beyond the rule because they're not changing the rule. He may or may not have broke the rules. They think he did. They don't know. Guys have been fired. He's a moron and won't admit it. It's just the dumbest thing ever. And then you get to 4 games for that. 2 games if you punch your wife and drag her out of an elevator. Actually, girlfriend or
4 for it's he got the same amount of games as Sheldon Richardson's probably going to get more because he just got in trouble again. But originally, Sheldon Richardson of the Jets got 4 games for a DUI, drug, and multiple drug possession charges.
Can I ask you a question?
He got the same amount of games as a guy who put multiple people at danger and had illegal drugs in his car as the same as some guy who maybe probably knew about slightly underinflated footballs.
So the Sheldon Richardson thing, the second piece of how he's in trouble, I don't know why this is so bad. He was going 179 miles an hour with drugs in the car and a 12-year-old boy. What's so bad about that? You're so negative. You think he's going to get suspended for that too?
I don't think it's going to help his case.
No,
by
probably
any means.
not. So Brady.
And he already previously had 2 arrests on his record, in addition to now getting in trouble for this.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure he's going to say it wasn't his fault.
He'll pray on it. Everything will be fine. But anyways, Tom Brady, it needs to go away one way or the other. He can
it's
miss.
It's not going to go away. Is the thing. It's going to drag on for so long because now they're taking it to like court, like real judge court, and now it's gonna turn into this whole thing, and it's not going to get resolved till like January.
If he goes to court, and court determines he should be suspended, and the independent investigator says it, he should not be allowed in the Hall of Fame.
Before I comment on that, I will be shocked if he loses this. If the NFL and Roger Goodell win this, I will be shocked. It is so clear that Roger Goodell, A, ignored the majority of the Wells report, B, made up this suspension out of nowhere, and C, did this to create and make an example. It will shock me if this holds up.
So, but here's what I don't understand. Well, I don't understand Spanish.
The crazy thing is, he's still.
I didn't even tell you what I don't understand.
He
yet.
still.
Hello.
He still gave, like he didn't. I understand you didn't tell me what you don't understand,
Well,
but
then
I
how
want to
can you
say
be
something
commenting?
before you do this.
Go ahead.
If he didn't he's still giving the Patriots the Super Bowl. He just suspended Brady for 4 games. He didn't even take that win away, which is weird to me. Like when Reggie Bush got in trouble at USA, they took his Heisman away.
I've got my hand up.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's what I don't understand besides Spanish. Why would, plain devil's advocate, why would Roger Goodell do this? I mean, it's the golden boy of the NFL, the most praised franchise. Why would he set out to ruin? I don't think this is a witch hunt. Why would he do it? What benefit does the NFL have from causing this whole stink? Suspending the golden boy of your league.
After he completely, and most people think, fumbled the whole Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson thing. He's all right. Well, I got to put my foot down, make an example. So I'm going to make an example out of the golden boy. No one's safe. Not even Tom Brady, 2-time MVP, now 4-time Super Bowl champ.
But he broke. Listen, it's a stupid rule.
If there was something in the rule book, in the
is.
bylaws that said you get a 4-game suspension for an underinflated football,
well, you don't think that. Well,
no, there's not.
Well, they don't have it predetermined, but there's clearly a rule against it.
Yes, but he completely made up the suspension out of nowhere. And part of the reason he gave him a 4-game suspension was for lack of cooperation. And in the Wells report, the independent investigator they hired said Brady was nothing but cooperative. He told me he'd give me his phone. I told him I didn't need it. In addition to many other, there's so many
okay.
discrepancies between what Goodell's doing and what the report
The
says.
right questions aren't being asked, and I'm here to do it. Number one, the whole phone thing, he told me he would give it. If I was being accused of something, I would be the first to hand my phone over and say, look it. So clearly, him not handing his phone over because he wasn't asked for it, you can, I'm sure he's texting Giselle's friends or something. He doesn't want anyone to see that. That doesn't need to be out there. That's allegedly. I'm just accusing him
but the
of it.
Wells guy told him
Doesn't matter.
But part of what Goodell, it does matter because Goodell is mad because he didn't give him the guy's phone, and the guy said he doesn't need the phone.
My point is this: if I'm being accused of something like this, and I know for a fact I didn't do it, and I want to clear my name as he's trying to do, I would have handed my phone over anyway.
He told him he'd give him his phone. The guy said, "I don't want it."
He should have gone and driven there and said, "Here's my phone. I'm not leaving here till you look at it, and I'm proving to you there's nothing in there." I mean, that's what you would do when you defend yourself, not just hope they don't ask for it. Number one.
He didn't.
Number two. Technically, whether the rule's good or not, he cheated to get into the Super Bowl. Right or wrong, he did it. So, I don't know.
Okay, so he cheated, and that's what I'm saying. They didn't take away that Super Bowl victory, which is ridiculous.
But you can't do that, though.
Yes, you can. Why not?
Because who's
you know
to
how
say
many
that-
times organizations have taken away victories?
Who would you give it to?
You just I don't know. You might not have a winner that year. Like the year Reggie Bush won the Heisman, they took it away from him. There's no Heisman winner that year. You know,
Well, he sold it. They didn't take it away.
Well, he sold it before they could take it away. But I also don't think this one episode can keep him out of the Hall of Fame, because I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame regardless of what he did too.
Agreed.
But because I think you have to look at what he did, but let's say they don't. Let's not count this. Let's not count this one because he cheated.
Then he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's got no. Let's not pretend like it didn't happen. Like let's say he didn't actually win this Super Bowl because he cheated. He still got 3 other Super Bowl victories and 2 NFL MVPs and multiple postseason records. He is still one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I don't think this should keep him out of the Hall of Fame.
But people are kept out of the Hall of Fame for things like this.
No, I know, and I know, and I disagree with the fact. And I'm saying I don't think, and I disagree.
Yeah, no, we agree on that.
And I don't think, but I don't. And I don't know if in the NFL, can you think of a case in the NFL someone's been kept out for something like this? I can't. I mean, at the MLB and the NFL, they're not like, it's not like they run together. They don't make the same rules.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sure there's somebody that did something, but did OJ get kicked out of the Hall of Fame, or is he still in it?
Who?
OJ?
I don't know.
The guy with the Bronco.
Yeah.
The white
I
Bronco.
honestly don't know.
So basically, I guess we're just gonna have to suffer through this Tom Brady thing because it really is boring and stupid. Anyways,
it's just so ridiculous.
So before I'm done with Tom Brady. I can't talk about him anymore. So when we had our little tribute at the beginning of the show to an icon that we lost, we actually lost another icon, Roddy Piper.
Passed away. Was it Saturday?
And Wyatt, the strange thing is, and I don't want to blame Wyatt for this, but last week when we were here, we had a little conversation about wrestling with Wyatt in our pre-meeting, and he mentioned how he saw Roddy Piper in this movie and blah, 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 and then about 19 hours later he had a heart attack. Not Wyatt, Roddy Piper.
Not night. Well, it was a couple days. It wasn't 19. Yeah, it was a couple days.
So I don't know who Wyatt's going to be talking about today, but good luck whoever that is. But so speaking of a legend,
a legend in his own right. It's now 2 huge losses in the wrestling community in a span of about a month between him and Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream.
Without Roddy Piper, Hulkamania would not be running wild. The first WrestleMania was Hogan and was it Hogan and Mr. T?
Yeah, he was one of the. I think he was probably the only quote unquote bad guy that people were ever like, I want to be him. It was like he was a guy people like, that was a guy like kids wanted to be, even though he was a bad guy, which is pretty hard to do.
I don't want to burst any of your bubbles, but he's not from Scotland.
I am.
He's
aware.
from Nova Scotia.
Yeah, no, I am aware of that.
So along the lines of Roddy Piper comes Rowdy Ronda Rousey, who she basically took her name from him. Well, the nickname part.
Well, no, people gave it to her at first,
And then
and she didn't want to use it because she thought it would be disrespectful.
And she asked his permission.
And so then she met him, and he was like, no, you can use it. You deserve it. Like, you have my blessing.
So let me
more or
just
less.
let me recap, and I know you know more about the UFC than I do, but let me just set the tone. So some lady from Jamaica, no, where's she from? Rio de Janeiro.
Brazil.
Is that in Brazil?
Yes,
Okay.
that is in Brazil.
So someone from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, talks smack about Rowdy Ronda Rousey's friends and this and
No,
that.
she beat two of her
Okay,
friends.
beat her
There's the
friends.
there's the 4 horsewomen.
Okay, am I not setting this up, or are you?
Well, you keep getting it wrong. I have to correct you.
First of all, no one's listening. They don't know it's wrong. Wyatt didn't even know it was wrong. But anyways,
Okay, but I'm not going to just feed people false information.
that wasn't false. She talked smack and beat them. That's fine. Anyhow, back to the story. So because of this, she decides she's going to fly all the way to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and fight this lady. And 34 seconds later, she's done.
And this Beth Correa was I think that's how you say her name. It might be different in Portuguese, the native language of Brazil.
Are you sure?
100% sure.
It's not Brazilian?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, it is not Brazilian.
Oh, okay. People don't know what you're thinking. You got to be more clear.
She was 9-0 coming into this fight. Beth Correa was. And the crazy thing is, no one, like, it's just like it's like no, this girl facing Ronda Rousey had never lost a fight, and no one thought she stood a chance. And I understand what you're saying. She had, like, she talks smack or whatever, but it's like, she kind of has to. Like, she's got to try and do something, because clearly she's not going to win, so she's got to, she can't just sit there and be like, I'm going to lose. Let me just, like, lay down and whatever. Now, that would probably be the smart thing, so you save yourself a punch to the face that knocks you out. But these people clearly, and I hope no UFC fighters are hearing this, or I might be in some trouble, have a screw loose to even just do this as a profession. It was UFC 190 was the event. There were about a couple, like 10, 12 fights. This was the only fight on the whole card to end in the first round, much less in 30 seconds, 34 seconds by knockout.
What an original title, too. UFC 190.
Well, they just keep...
So 191's next. So the reason I'm saying this...
they might even go by, like... I don't even know. I don't think they go up by one every time.
I think it's safe to say that Ronda Rousey is right now the most popular female athlete in the world.
Well, I was going to ask you. That was my next.
She should be
question.
making millions. She's the face of UFC. You don't.
She might make. I don't know. She might.
She probably
make
does.
millions.
But
she probably does.
Name me one. Well, you probably know because you're a geek. But I've heard of Ronda Rousey. I haven't heard of any of the other fighters now that Brock Lesnar's not in it anymore.
I would agree. She is the face of UFC. She was the main event at this UFC event, and in 4 months when she has her next fight, she's going to be the main event in that fight as well. It's just, and it's my question for you is going to be: is she the most dominant female athlete right now? Because you got women like.
Actually, I think she's the most dominant athlete. There's nothing. They're 35 seconds.
Like, yes, but I was. It's just, but you got it's unbelievable.
Could she beat up Floyd Mayweather?
Well, she probably could. Maybe, I don't know.
If
one's a boxer, one's a the UFC. It'd be like, are they going to box? Or are they going to fight?
Well, that's the thing. If he punches her, she's in trouble. But if she gets a hold of him,
gets a hold of him, then he's in trouble. It's
those scrawny arms. She'll rip him in half.
Yeah,
and maybe she should.
He probably has it coming. I don't know. I can't actually say. I kind of like Floyd Mayweather. I know that's not a popular opinion. But
whoa! How can he beats women?
Not like him as a person. I just think he's kind of entertaining. He's like one of those guys. He's almost like a wrestler. He's just like, he's so ridiculous.
Except he actually beats women.
No, I know. I didn't mean literally like him. Like, I don't like idolize him or anything. But he's just like he is kind of entertaining. The whole like money team thing is kind of entertaining.
I have to have a talk with Mom. I thought she did a better job with you.
I'm not saying I want to be Floyd Mayweather. And I don't think he's a good guy. I just think he's kind of like,
Well,
honestly, he's so ridiculous and so like out there and so like lavish. It's just like it's entertaining to watch. And like when I watched him and Manny Pacquiao fight, when I was watching the Manny Pacquiao segments, I was like falling asleep. When I was watching the Floyd Mayweather segments, I was like, this is like kind of funny, like fun to watch. He's not like, I'm not going to go like say, oh, I wish I want to be Floyd Mayweather where I beat up whoever and like that's how I make my living.
Beating up women's not a great.
No, that's not what that's not what I meant.
Well, I want to see Ronda Rousey take him on.
I would rather see Ronda Rousey fight a male MMA fighter.
No, I think Floyd Mayweather would be my pick. But all right, well, you can enjoy people that do stuff like that. That's fine.
It's like a bad guy in wrestling. You know, like I know he's a bad guy, but he's like
bad guys in wrestling are
I understand.
actors.
Yeah, they're fake. But I know, but it doesn't mean that like his goofy like $1 million like things aren't like kind of funny and like kind of entertaining. But when he does like, I'm not saying I like him as a person. I just think he's like kind of an entertaining personality.
It's hard for me to. I'm sure he is.
Well, then you should hate Adrian Peterson and like you should never cheer for him again if that's what you're going to rest on.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
No, it's not. He beat a child.
Right, but in
his own child.
I'm not defending him. No. I've never. Clearly I should have spanked you when you were growing up, and I haven't. But he was twisted in his thinking. But I don't think he goes out and beats kids, and I'm not defending him because it's disgusting, and I'm not a huge fan of his. But I'm not telling you that he's entertaining either. But
you're telling me, so you don't think watching Adrian Peterson run the football is entertaining?
No.
You don't enjoy watching Adrian Peterson play football? I don't have a choice. You don't enjoy watching Adrian Peterson play football?
Well, I did.
You can't suspend
I can.
What he did wrong for 48 minutes a week to watch him play football and just enjoy that.
I can enjoy but it's in different context. Floyd Mayweather.
I don't enjoy the fact that he like beat women. I enjoyed like I think he's entertaining to watch. He's so ridiculous. He's such a big personality. I mean, after that fight, he wouldn't give when they wanted the belts. He wouldn't give them back.
Right.
So they had to strip them of them and then like make. I just think that stuff like that is kind of. I guess entertaining might not be the right word.
I'm so disappointed in your mom right now. I can't even tell you. But we got to move on. I can't. I like a 1% sort of see what you're saying.
I just think with stuff like that, you have to just kind of. And I know it's what he did was completely wrong, and he probably shouldn't even be famous in any regard. They shouldn't let him box anymore because of what he's done or whatever it may be. But when things like that, you got to kind of just. Forget about that for a little bit and just kind of enjoy what he's doing then. But then when it's over, understand that he's not like someone you should ever like look up to. He's not a good role model, but that doesn't mean he's not like. It's not like he's not like fun to watch. Do whatever.
I will cut you a little slack, not a ton, and I'll have to talk to Mom. Although it's too late, you're already out of the house and
you're completely missing my point, but that's fine.
No, I think I got it.
No, you don't.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
We'll go to this because of what we were just talking about. There were 2 separate incidents yesterday in the MLB of bench clearing brawls, and I think no matter what the players on those teams have done, everyone enjoys a good bench clearing brawl in the MLB. No one's going to complain about a bench clearing brawl.
Is there ever really a good one? Because
but there's never really a bad one. You're right. It never ends in a real fight, but it is kind of exciting when they all nothing's better than when the whole benches are on the field and the bullpens come sprinting in from right field. I always get a good laugh.
So let me ask you a question: how many players are at a major league game on each team?
Aren't they 25-man rosters?
Okay, so we got 50 baseball players, and then coaches, and bat boys and bat girls, and you got 4 umpires. Out of shape, couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. There's no way that if they really wanted to brawl, it shouldn't just be a knockdown, drag out.
Well, they never actually want to
No,
fight, and that's
four
kinda what
guys
makes them
seem to
funny.
be able. How do 4 guys break up 50 guys fighting?
Well, here's what I'm saying. I don't actually want to see anybody like start throwing huge punches. That's why I don't really watch the UFC. That's why I don't watch boxing. I don't watching that's kind of tough, but it's kind of funny. Like you said, watch 25 baseball players like go nose to nose and
Right.
like shove and push each other, and then it's like kind of exciting for a little bit. And
Well-
then they kick 2 guys from each team out, and then it's like.
And help me with this because we
But
both.
then, but this is I get baseball brawls are kind of, but then you got hockey brawls, and you get the Malice at the Palace, and
Well, let me get back to baseball, and then we'll get onto that. So let's set the scene. A pitcher throws a ball, and a guy hits a home run. And then the next time up, the pitcher's mad at him because he hit a home run, and he throws at his face. Does that mean every time Mauer strikes out, he should launch his bat the next at-bat at the pitcher because he struck him out? I mean, these guys are babies. It doesn't take much to start these fights, and they don't really want to fight. It's ridiculous. I watched the Kansas City one yesterday. Kansas City, time and time again this year, have put themselves in this position. I think they're very cocky. I think they're out of control. I think they're lucky. I think they're playing in the worst division by far in baseball, who they play a majority of their games against, and they're not as good as their record indicates. They're playing the Twins, the Indians, the White Sox, and Detroit, and they're very cocky and they're full of themselves. And if they're in any other division, they'd be good. They'd be decent. They're not. They would not have the record they have.
Does
that have anything to do with fights? I'm not sure.
no.
Okay.
I agree. They're not 20 games over 500 good, but they're. I think they're pretty good. I don't think you're giving them quite as much credit as they deserve. You're right. They're not 20. They're 20 games over 500. They're not that good, but I think they deserve. They clearly are the best team in the Central. You're right. It's not a great division, but I think.
And that's who they're playing a majority of their games against.
But I don't know. I think. I guess I don't know exactly what the Royals have done their last 20 games or whatever.
Well, why do they
beat,
keep
who they've
getting into
lost to,
fights too? Because they're cocky.
Well, it's like they're like 20. They're a young team that's like they.
That pitcher yesterday, Donaldson didn't even do anything, and he started throwing at him.
No, he hit Donaldson first,
Right.
more or less, I think, on accident.
Then he kept throwing at him.
Because then they started throwing at his guys, and he got the whole back and forth thing. I think he hit Donaldson on accident first, I think was what happened. And then I don't honestly know who was pitching for the Blue Jays. I don't remember. But then he
I know who it was. R.A. Dickey, and he throws 37 miles an hour. Boy, that's going to hurt if he hits you. Baseball fights are dumb. I think I agree with you. I don't know if that's what you're saying.
That's not all I was saying. I think they're awesome.
They're dumb and awesome, then I guess. But
They're not fights, but they're fun.
Well, football, they're fighting with each other. They got helmets and equipment on. That's stupid.
Then you don't see that many big fights. There's a lot of pushing and shoving in football. There's not a lot of fighting.
I'd like to see more lacrosse fighting. I think that.
Yeah, but then you got to watch lacrosse. And then you're stuck watching lacrosse.
I call it lax.
It's a sport I will never get into. I can't. It doesn't make sense to me. You know, if a ball goes out of bounds, if you're the closest one to it, you get the ball. Like it doesn't go to the other team. Isn't that the most ridiculous rule in the history of rules? Can you imagine if in the NBA they gave the ball to who's ever closest to the ball when it went out of bounds?
Well, sometimes they do. Those referees are so bad.
That's a different story. Or like if a ball went out of bounds in football, whoever was closest got the ball back. So you get a turnover just by standing a guy on the sidelines. Isn't that not ridiculous? I think it's the dumbest rule in the history of rules. Actually, no, it's the second dumbest rule in the history of rules, right behind the inflation of the football rule.
That could be.
But back to brawls. Your best brawl of all time.
Well, I was at... Well, you wouldn't even know about this, but I was at the North Stars versus Blackhawks game. And there were several brawls, but they actually threw the benches onto the ice. And I don't mean they left the bench.
That's good.
The benches actually were thrown on the ice. So but those days were... But hockey kind of polices themselves.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
I think I don't know. I will say I think 2011, Georgetown, the basketball team, went on a trip to China, play a couple Chinese basketball teams. They played the national team in an exhibition game, and then they were playing a team that was literally made up of guys in the Chinese military. Why the Chinese military has a professional basketball team, I don't know. Turned into a huge brawl. There was like fans involved, and it was So that's a pretty. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. You should watch the video. There's guys literally like.
So
these are like college basketball kids fighting professional military members because and apparently they interviewed a bunch of I guess Chinese basketball media guys after, and this team causes a lot of problems.
So
can you imagine if the Navy SEALs had an NBA team?
Time out a sec. So the fans got involved?
Yeah.
So what did they do? Kick the guys in the shins?
Yeah. Well, yeah. When they're down on the ground, they were throwing chairs and water on the court and everything. And
so, so we're gonna have some social media things out soon, aren't we? Or maybe.
Yep. We're gonna have a Twitter and a Facebook. Just on Facebook, search Apples 2 Apples with the number. It's Apples space number 2, the number 2 space.
Why are you
Apples.
looking at me? I don't do that stuff.
And then on Twitter, follow us at Apples to Apples, no spaces. The
Comments,
number 2
questions. No, I will not send you pictures. I'm just throwing that out there now. I don't do stuff like that. And we're going to have some special guests coming up. We have one that we're working on, or the powers that be are working on. And I'll just give you a clue. It's going to be a bombshell. Well, that's probably not a good clue. If anyone knows this person, he would say that a lot when he was interviewing people. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. He's got to decide if he's got nothing better to do, and he's desperate. And
he'd probably both have to have nothing better to do and be desperate to come on here and talk with us.
That hurts.
It's the truth hurts.
Did you get everything off your chest this week?
I think so. I just need. I hope sitting Mauer today is step one to something new with the Twins, I guess is all. The game did just start. We're not losing yet. Thank God.
Well, that's good.
But it's a big series against the Blue Jays. We're up 1 on them in the wild card. We need to, if not make up some, if not create some space here, at least, split it.
Next week we'll be down 5 by the time we're back.
I know, but
So is that it for today?
I think so. That's our time. That's our show.
I have still not come up with a proper send off. I keep failing to do that.
You haven't given it a lot of effort yet.
No.
But this has been Apples to Apples on the Alive and Social Network, Dad.
Drew?
Until next week.
See, this is where I always get stuck.
You don't have to say anything.
All right, just play
the
the music and we can be done.
She's 90, just letting it all hang out.